office, I got an email saying Zoom is, so I was wondering.
Oh, that's weird. Anthony, it's so nice out.
Very nice last 2 afternoons.
Summer is almost here.
Close. All right, we can just get started since we are gonna try to stick to an hour. See how this works. All right, so the mission of the Human Relations Committee, or the purpose of the Human Relations Committee, is to create an atmosphere of inclusion, equality, and accessibility for education, outreach, to recognize the value of a diverse community. So an email went out with the meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions regarding the minutes at all? Do I have a motion to approve? Make a motion. Motion by Tia in a second.
I second.
All in favor of approval of the meeting minutes, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
You guys for? Yes, for the meeting minutes? Okay. All right, great. Looks like no one's here for public comment unless Commissioner Connolly have some public comment. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is community conversations. So as you guys are well aware, our next community conversation is May 8th. And we did have a couple subcommittee meetings in regards to that. And I'll have Katie talk about the communications. Why don't we start with that, Katie? Do you want to update everyone on the communications piece for the event?
Sure. We met as a subcommittee, and then I met with Kaylin just to really map out what that communications plan would look like. I think one of the things that we talked about as a subcommittee that was really important is how do we make sure that we communicate to the public that there is a panelist. You know, there are panelists that are going to be talking about their challenges and barriers and offer solutions to some of those transportation barriers. But how do we also make sure that the public is aware that this is the time for them to provide public input to the Transportation Steering Committee? And so we are passing around a news release. The goal would be to send it out April 23rd. And as part of that news release, Kaylin has also developed a link and a QR code for residents to also submit questions or comments and thoughts online as well. And we can also make that available during the event itself. So that'll go out on the 23rd. And then he's also developed some graphics to be rotating on social media as well as City of Bismarck as well. So we're circulating that now. Is there anything you would add to that? Anyone on the subcommittee?
No, Kaylin's really done a great job with communication with Katie as far as doing what we're putting out as far as social media and everything. So he has it laid out as far as different weeks, what is going to be sent out, what's going to be posted, and he asked for our feedback, which are just a few things of feedback that we had. So people definitely should know about it. He also did a flyer for 1 million cups
I've
as
been
well.
announcing that at the beginning for 3 weeks now. Got 1 million cups.
So that brings in a different population, so that should be great. And then we'll start sharing it ourselves, just like we're sharing the Humanitarian of the Year Award information with all of our people on Facebook. So we will do that as well. But anything else, Katie, that you have to add?
No, just a thank you and gratitude to Kaylin for just being very proactive and timely.
We have confirmed the panelists. There are 5 of them. We tried to do a mixture of people. So we have Susan Dingle, who is a transit rider, and then Trevor Vanette, who's also a transit rider. Oh my gosh, Joan, do you know Matthew's last name? There's an A,
Yeah, it's Erico.
Erico, he
Yep,
is
Erico.
with the cat bus. And then, so those are the three more people that ride. And then we have Heather May, who is the community, what is it? Integration facilitator, for the city. And then we have Sheris Rosnes, who is the transition coordinator for the school system, who works with a lot with the homeless population and does a lot with transportation. And then Heather works a lot with, I believe, Americans. So those are the 5 that we have for panelists. Kind of how we've discussed structuring the event is to start out with first welcoming everyone, kind of explaining what the committee does, and then having somebody from the Transportation Steering Committee come up and explain why we're doing this specific community conversation. And Commissioner Connolly had written something up, which looks good as far as that goes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure by coming to this meeting, Mike Taylor said he would, as long
Okay.
as I sent him an email, so he could PDF it.
Okay, all right.
So if that's still okay.
Yeah, whoever you guys want, that's fine.
Okay, is the wording right?
I thought the wording was fine, yep.
Okay.
I wouldn't know what it was if someone was telling me that, so.
Okay,
So, and then he'll come up and speak as far as an explanation. The co-moderators, we have Dawn Kopp, who is from the Downtowners Association is one of them, and she actually is on the Transportation Steering Committee. And Joan, are you still good in being the other co-moderator?
Yep, I'll be there. I'm available to do that.
And then Joan will be the other co-moderator. So we basically only have 2 questions this time. In the past, we've had 3 for the panelists. The 2 questions are, I don't have them with me exactly, but basically the first one is what barriers do you or the population that you serve have as far as accessing transportation? And the second one is what ideas do you have for the steering committee or for the city or whoever's involved to be able to overcome those barriers? So those are the 2 questions that they will ask. I can't remember, Tia, Joan, Katie, do we make a decision if we're gonna have them answer the questions before we go into public comment? That was what we decided, right?
Correct.
So the panelists will go through the first question, go through the second question, and then after the second question, people who have public comments or questions can go up to the mic, ask the question, make the comment. We are going to treat it like regular public comment, I believe, where they write their information, just so we know who is up there speaking. And we're going to encourage them to limit it to 5 minutes. We're not going to sit there in time, but we're going to encourage them to limit to 5 minutes.
and part of that's coming from me. We've had some people approach and want to comment. They've offered the opportunity and they weren't forthright with information. And because, for commissioner's sake, because of the sake of quorum and things, we have to be careful. So I've just encouraged them to come to both our steering committee and this opportunity, state who they are, what service they provide, and how they currently help elderly, disabled, and people of low socioeconomic status. So we understand who they are, and then as the city builds their policy out around this funding source, whatever mechanism they have to where they can submit to be one of those people that are selected to fill in that space, they come into it. And that way we can navigate some of the unknowns that we've been presented with.
I did forget one thing, actually. So in the beginning, after they go over basically what we're there for, I'm having Deidre from Bismarck Transit come up and just explain their services that they offer. Since we were gonna have her on a panel, but we kind of decided not to against it. We do think it's important that people in the audience do know the services that they offer, because they will probably have some type of funding from this. So she is willing to go up there and kind of explain shorter what services that they offer to in the beginning. So any questions at all from the committee?
Can you remind us one more time the time and the place?
May 8th. It starts at 6, it's done at 8, and it's downstairs in the conference building. Yep, the one where the city commission meeting was.
One
So
thing-
what time are we wanting people to be there is my next question.
But what about the meeting prior to it,
Excuse me.
the meeting prior?
Yeah, there'll be one that's scheduled. It could take up until 5 o'clock, but they don't anticipate that. So 5:30, I would say. EMA will have, stuff lined up, ready to go. So we would just need to move around chairs and get that area set up for the panelists is all it would take. And then set up any information that you would like those that are attending to take home with them or to read.
All right, so,
Sure, Deidre will have stuff. Or you may ask her if she wants to provide any
okay, I'll ask her.
information.
Should Dawn and I meet before to kind of discuss how and who is gonna tackle what part of the event, what part of the conversation?
I can send you her email address. I have her phone number too.
Okay,
So
Thank you.
I'll just message her and let her know that you'll be reaching out to her. Does that work?
yep, that works. Thank you.
What time should we have the panelists there?
I put in the invitation, please arrive by 5:45 as a panelist.
Oh, you did? Okay. I didn't see that for some reason.
I was just also going to add, and there's been so many emails going back and forth that, Joan, I will forward this to you after the meeting. But we did, in the invitation to the panelists, of course, we highlighted those 2 questions that Sardiana mentioned, but we did list 2 additional questions as potential questions as time allows. So if in the event there's low attendance or public comment or questions are dwindling or anything like that, the 2 potential questions as time allows are, what do you believe are the most important priorities for our public transportation steering committee to consider, and how would more accessible transportation options impact your feelings of safety and a sense of belonging in the city of Bismarck? So that'll just be good for you to know, Joan, as a co-moderator, that the panelists will be prepared to speak to that if it's needed, right? And that'll be really based on the Q&A and public comment side too.
Sure. Okay.
Are we doing some type of little, remember when we've done in the past, something for them to fill out about the community conversation in general? Are we having them fill it out again? Do we want that? I think Katie, you had developed it, or you and Whitney?
Yeah, I
love
won't take any, it was all Whitney designing it. But I think we should, because Kaylin developed a QR code for even those in the audience to submit comment or question. We might not ask that in real time, but I think it would be good for the transportation committee to have those. I also, who knows, right? We might get feedback on that survey of what a future community conversation could look like. So I guess my perspective would be that it would be beneficial to have that.
So have a stackable if we want to use the same.
Okay, and it's generic. You didn't say anything specific about what community conversation it was or anything?
Things, I'll double check
Okay.
tomorrow, and then I can just let you know.
It could be like a quick, like front and back, right? Of like what the Human Relations Committee is, listing the panelists and the moderators, and then maybe the back just being a survey and a QR code. I think that some of our, consumers of transit might not necessarily have, bios that they necessarily might want to share to the group, but that's something that we've done in the past, right? Is have the bios of the panelists.
I'm not sure. I know that I think 4 out of the 5 of them would be okay with bio. Like Trevor, I can make up a bio for him. I know Trevor really well, and Susan, I'm sure I could too. The one I do not know at all is Matthew.
Matthew said he can provide something short, just a brief one. And I was wondering too, are we introducing them, or are they going to introduce themselves? Are we using those bios to introduce the panelists?
I don't think we've ever read the bios, but I think we've introduced them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like what organization or population they represent.
Yeah. So I would say it'd be easy just doing that. And if people want to know more about them, if we have them right up, I already have someone's bio. Whose bio do I have? Oh, sure. Shirley's bio. I did ask Heather for hers too.
You provide the questions to the panelists before.
They have them. They got them 2 days ago. Yeah. And every panelist has responded that they are attending except for Trevor. But Trevor, I can call him if we need to. We can see him at the Capitol. He's there all the time when I'm there, so I'll get some message. Anything else about that event? Who is all going to be there?
I don't know if I would be as.
So Katie for sure not, and you're not sure. Gabby, are you gonna be there?
As of now, I should be able to be there.
So if we could come at 5:30, that'd be great, just to head up, help set up and make sure we have everything in place.
And Katie asked me, just because I've attended 2 of them now, but I announced it at the quarterly West Central Human Service Center meeting. So a lot of stakeholders there.
Good. And then, along with that, Wendy had sent out an email, and in the email, she had an attachment that had a list of who we all sent it out to as far as organizations. So if you have any other organizations, if you want to get the contact information to Whitney. Whitney, when do you need that by? When do you plan on sending out that letter?
I think that's kind of up to you guys. I was just waiting to make sure I had a complete list before I sent the email out.
So, do we do it still where we send out 3 of them?
I think I've only done 1 in the past.
Oh, I thought we did a couple closer to the event. I could be wrong.
It might have been.
Yeah,
I could want to though.
Right, so when are we thinking? When is the one, Katie, going on social media?
The 23rd. So I think it should line up around that same time. And Sardiana, I would be happy to put together like the event, like the bios and pulling that all together with a QR code. Just, I can't be there in person, so I'll try to front load my work.
Whitney or Doug, all of the letters when we were talking about during the last budget cycle, all of the letters to the stakeholders that I asked and we sent out that couple of weeks, I might have providers on that list that aren't coinciding with this list. So add that to your list because those will have contact and addresses. There might be some duplicates, but.
So Whitney, would it be possible for you to send it out sometime the week when we send ours out? So the 23rd, like the 23rd, 24th, or 25th?
Of April, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I can get it out the 23rd.
Okay.
I'm out of the office on the 24th and 25th, so I won't be able to do it that day, but.
Okay. So that would be then around, or I think even the 28th would be okay, just as long as it's a couple days from the Facebook post or from social media. Or anything that I missed about that event?
Did you, excuse me, Katie, did you ask about a Facebook event like we had that? I'm pretty sure we had it that first time, but.
You know, I actually forgot to ask Kaylin about that when we met. So I don't know if Kaylin's listening in, it looks like maybe, but no, I have not brought that to Kaylin's attention yet.
Yeah, I don't know how much it helps or not, but.
We can certainly do it. I guess I can create one. It takes 3 minutes. It's no big deal. If it's the desire of the committee to do it, just let me know.
I think the more advertising, the better. So I think it's fine to put one out there. If everyone else is good with it.
Yep.
All right. So moving on, so Whitney wrote this agenda with me. So we just did the events kind of in order that they are somewhat. So the next event is next week. next week, Monday. It's the Families Around the World event, 6:30 to 8. So that is at the public library. And that basically is an event for families to come, and people have different booths from different organizations. You have to have an activity. So we're doing rock painting. So I gotta get those rocks. I have them with me and the paint markers with me. So, what time, I know you're gonna be there right away. What time are you thinking for setup?
First off, it is the 28th right now, next Monday.
Oh yeah, sorry, I have myself on the 23rd. It is the 28th, sorry.
Setup takes 2 minutes. I mean,
So,
if I'll be there at 6, I don't think anyone.
so I'd say by 6:15, if you're going to, who is all planning on assisting with that event? Okay?
Hi.
Okay. Are you guys gonna be there right away then?
I will be.
Okay, and you, okay, I'll call later because I have to pick up the rocks. Shut the door.
I can be there as well. I can't stay the whole time, but I can be there probably until 7:30 or so.
All right, so I will come there at probably about 7 o'clock or so. I can help so people can leave if they want then as well. It's just a regular size table is what it is, and then you just tell about the Human Relations Committee, and then you hand them the rocks to paint, and then I have paint markers there too. I also have wipes so you can wipe off the rocks and clean them off before they do. I did check all the paint markers and they're all good, but doesn't mean that they're up. If you need to throw some away, throw them away. So, but there is quite a few of them. So who wants to take this stuff with? Because we have things that need to go, Human Relations Committee things like pamphlets. What else do we want to take besides the pamphlets?
Well, it's pretty tight in there. I don't know if we want the stand up. What do you think?
I don't think we did that last time. I don't know if we had it.
I thought we had that old school one with the,
Oh, yeah.
I just remember the tables being
I don't-
close together.
I don't think you need it. So does someone want to take this stuff with them tonight, or does someone want to come sometime before then and grab it?
I can come grab it before.
You need help with that? Like, is it, because I can definitely help out.
I mean, because if you're okay grabbing it, and all it is a little wheelie tote thing.
Yeah.
Because then I'll have the rocks.
You can take it now tonight if you
That's
want.
what I'll do. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a little black thing that has all our stuff in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be in scrubs, but I'll come pick it up, look at stuff.
It's just a fun event for kids. It's free. A lot of kids that come are generally pretty well attended. Anything else about that event? All right, so we have enough people for that one. We're just gonna talk about the ones that are possibilities, not that we're gonna do all of these. So the next one that we got presented a possibility with before, we've done in the past, and we got presented a possibility with is the Band-Aid parade. That is May 9th. We haven't had the best luck in the past with the Band-Aid parade. So I'm not sure, I won't be available, but if anybody else would like to do it. In the past, one year we walked, which was not the greatest because we had an individual that couldn't walk far. So the next year we did have someone who had a trailer. And was it canceled that year or did we actually do it? I'm looking at Doug who wasn't here.
We had, I only remember doing it.
That year was canceled because it rained.
Okay, it was canceled. We had it all set up and it was canceled. So does anybody have any interest in doing that parade? No? Okay.
So, what time do you have to do that? Like, what time do you have to set up and what are the details for that?
I don't know. It would have to be a number of us doing it is the other thing.
Uh-huh.
Whitney, do you know the times?
Let me see if I can find the invitation quick.
I think for from my perspective, I think prioritizing events in which like we can give swag and also sort of cultivate conversations about what the Human Relations Committee are priority to something like the Band-Aid. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's good to get the City of Bismarck and the committee's name out there, but I would prioritize the ones in which we can connect a little bit more with residents.
Online it says starts at 4:30, ends at 8:30.
Oh, okay.
So I agree that it's better to do events where you can communicate with people, and this is you're basically just handing people stuff is the other thing.
Yeah.
So, is everyone okay with not doing it and moving on to the other events?
Yes.
Okay. The Cultural Expo. So that is, and Joan, if you want to explain, since it's your organization's event.
So annually, the North Dakota Asian American Arts and Cultural Initiative, we have a cultural expo presenting performances and art exhibit and booths and food from 1 to 4. So Human Relations is going to have a table or a booth with swag and, again, conversations like Katie had mentioned. And you guys can stay, as long the whole time or part-time and just leave something for people to take. That's your choice. But I think having someone there to answer questions and to have that conversation would be good. So it's basically a free event, free to the public. People can come and go. It's an open door from 1 to 4.
Is it at the Heritage Center?
Yes, at the Heritage Center. The booths are gonna be inside the lecture rooms in the hallway there towards the treehouse, if you're going towards the treehouse. And then we also have a performances piece that you can sign up to go in. It's free, but there's only limited seats in the auditorium. And that one starts at 2. It's about 90 minutes. So if you decide to, go to that, you can definitely, you don't have to be at your table the whole time.
So what time would setup won't take us very long? So like
We're gonna
15.
we're gonna be there as early as 10. So whenever you feel, however you feel like you need time to set up. It's probably similar to the families around the world where you don't really need a whole lot of setup unless you have, some pieces or art or something that you need to set up.
The tables are there. We don't have to bring table or anything.
Yep, tables are provided.
Who is all able to wants to participate in volunteering for this?
I'm there at 12:30 to do setup.
I can come at 1 maybe for an hour.
I'm available as well.
Can't, my daughter's graduating from college. I feel super old.
I should be available that day.
Okay.
This is the,
So Tia will be there are you guys gonna be there the whole entire time or just coming for in the beginning or towards the end or?
Why don't we do, if there's 4 of us, why don't we do like 12:30 to 2 and then 2 to 4? You know what I mean? Like maybe we split it up 2 and 2.
And then Maribel can just be in the middle. She can do 1 to 2.
And it sounds like, do you want me to do 2 to 4?
Gabby, did you say you could be there?
Yeah, as far as I know, at least for now, I can be there.
So did you want to do 12:30 to 2 or 2 to 4?
I think 12:30 to 2 would be better on my end.
And then Katie, you could do 2 to 4. And then Tia, and then Maribel will be in the middle. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and I can break down, take the stuff.
All right.
And so then what room is going to be the setup?
It's going to be in the lecture rooms. So we have all 3 lecture rooms available to us. So we will have the table labeled tables labeled on which area you'll be. And the tables are all set up for you to, put your stuff on. So the lecture rooms are on the hallway towards the treehouse. And if you're familiar with the Heritage Center.
Joan, where will you be in case we can't find them?
Well, there's gonna be people, and there's gonna be signs too that it's our the expo is. You won't be just left wandering the museum. There's gonna be signs and whatnot, and we're gonna have shirts that says have our logo and volunteer in the back and also so.
Well, do we have shorts for our committee?
We do. I don't know if we have leftovers. We can look in there. We might have a few leftovers.
You being up at the Capitol a lot, that parking lot that's just to the east side, south, the upper level entrance, that's where the tree is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that playground upstairs?
Well, yeah, we're not on the third floor. We're on the second floor, but that's if you go towards the
Direction.
treehouse. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know.
I think it's in between the theater down to the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just walk
Yeah.
around.
So it's past the Russell Reed Auditorium.
All right, next is Capitol Pride, which we've done every year. The only information I know for sure is it's June 14th.
They haven't released their times yet. They thought it was either gonna come out today or tomorrow. The only one I've seen so far is Sioux Falls put out. So, hopefully we'll have a time.
Last year was 10 to 3. I looked up the other Facebook event. So then generally, of course, it doesn't take us very long to set up. So probably 9:15, 9:30. I think we've scheduled it as early as 9 before, but we haven't used close to that time. So I think we pushed it off a little bit later in the past, last year. So it would be, I think the easiest thing for that to have it spread out, since it's a longer event, is to do a sign up genius. So what that'll look like is I'll send out an invite with different slots and you can sign up. And I mean, there just needs to be at least one person, I would say, per slot. It'd be great if there were a couple, but if not, it'd be fine with just one of us there. And then we just have different swag items there. There's a lot of people who come visit you for that one. I mean, engagement is really great, in my opinion, and I've done it every year. We've had it since I've been on here. So, and we don't even know the location yet. So it's been at the Capitol before, thus the name Capitol Pride. Last year it was not, due to protests happening at the Capitol. And it's been at the BSC Energy Center before too. So it's been indoors before, because there's issues with some wind situations a couple of years. So we'll see once they release it on the Code Outrights page. We can send out more information. Who all knows that they could potentially volunteer for it? Okay.
I will try to, as right now, I think I can.
Okay.
I'm 100% gone.
You're gone. Yes.
I don't know if I can dedicate the whole day to it.
No, it
but
would be
like morning for
Yep,
sure.
that'd be a couple hour shift. Katie or Joan or Gabby?
I should be able to in the earlier part of the day.
Time you said this starting?
I am on I'm on vacation, unfortunately, so I won't be able to help.
I'll be there probably with work, but I can, if we need additional assistance, can probably try and come and help out our table too.
I'm assuming this is Whitney that has this answer. Whitney, do you know how many people have signed up to potentially look at being volunteers for the Human Relations Committee?
Let me check.
Because I'm wondering if somebody would be willing to, I think we need to do a subcommittee in regards to the volunteers. And I'm wondering if somebody would want to reach out to the volunteers we have to see if any of them would like to volunteer for that event or any events we have coming up.
It looks like we have 11 people signed up. So I can get you the list with like the email addresses. I think that's the information that's provided. Or if you have like a response or an email that you want me to send out asking them if they wanted to volunteer at that event, I can send that out too.
Anybody want to do that? To put together an email or to contact those volunteers to see if they want to volunteer at any of the events?
I can do that.
I would propose if we're gonna discuss subcommittee, like, I think it would make sense for there to be a committee for community events and volunteer engagement, just because those are gonna be so interconnected. Because I think to start, right, is if we're gonna have volunteers, is making sure that one of our committee members is meeting there and talking a little bit about the mission and goals, just making sure that they're well equipped to speak to our committee's mission. So that would just be my suggestion.
I think Tia, I don't know if you did, or Tia, do we have that conversation regarding the subcommittees and which ones you guys would like to be on?
Yeah, because I know Katie talked about taking on the responsibility of like the budget and looking at that stuff. And then we discussed the community conversation subcommittee and the volunteer one. And we figured one of us that's been with the community conversations, which ended up being me, would hang out on the community conversation subcommittee until we get through the next one. And then the volunteer and community event one, which is where I would actually like to go eventually. But I think that's all we talked about were those two, right, Katie?
Yeah, that was my memory. I obviously am not present for this first community conversation, but I certainly would be happy to stay on that subcommittee and help lead those efforts.
So Joan, would you want to then stay, since you've been involved in the community conversations one, on that subcommittee?
Sure, that would work.
I think if we're, especially since we're trying to get these meetings down to like an hour, close to an hour, I think it'd be the most essential thing to do that is to have these two subcommittees. And to have that conversation like we've had regarding these community conversations. We had 2 meetings, which were an hour long, I believe, just specifically for this one event. So I think it would be great to have that. Does anybody else, do you two want to be on one of those? One would be in regards to community events and volunteers, and the other one's in regards to community conversations, that event specifically.
I would do the volunteer.
Okay.
Be comfortable with that.
Arabella, would you want to be on one of them?
Yeah, I can be on community conversations. I was hoping to get through this year to understand better what everything is about and then jump into new things, but I guess I can learn as I go.
The good thing is community conversations are only once a quarter. So.
It's very specific how we set it up. It's generally the same. This is just a different because we are approached. This one's a little bit different than the other ones will be. So let's see what it is. And I can do stuff with community events and volunteers too. I feel comfortable calling volunteers if needed. So Betsy said that she would contact those people that are on the list. So if you want to just touch base with her regarding what volunteers had signed up already.
Yep, I can make a spreadsheet out of the forms that have, or the volunteer forms, and I'll email it to her.
And then once I find out for sure, or Tia lets me know, because Tia has the good contact with Dakota Outright, what time this event is and where it's at and everything, I'll send that information to Whitney, or Tia will, and then she'll send out an email to everyone. I just want to make sure we have enough people, because this event we give a sponsorship to, so it's a cost of money. So I just want to make sure we have enough people to staff it all day. And I did tell Jason Grenick he's able to be at our committee and sit with us and talk with the people if he wants to be at the event. I am sure he has another one, but yeah.
I actually think I might have the people thing to do it. Remind me with the subcommittees, let's say there's someone that's not on the committee is interested in volunteering as part of the subcommittee, can they do that?
Yeah, they can be on a subcommittee. Yeah, it doesn't have to be just us. It has to be. The one thing though, if we have any type of meetings, that's a subcommittee where we think there's gonna be 4 or more of us on it. We have to let Whitney know and send her, if it's a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, we have to send her information so she can put it out as a quorum, potential quorum. So the last couple meetings, I had to send her what our Zoom link was gonna be so she could send it out. Posted how she needed to, in case there's a quorum, even though we weren't really doing any business that needed to be voted on. Anything else regarding that event? Great. Do you have any information at all regarding Juneteenth at all?
I have heard nothing back and I've seen nothing in
Okay,
any capacity online.
okay, you can just skip that one. What's it, June 19th is when it generally is?
I think, because June 19th is, I think a Thursday this year, I think she said they were considering Saturday. I think. I'm sure that's what, she may not have said that here, I think she said it at, a local neighbors meeting.
Then, I don't know, I mean, I'm all for the buddy bot, but did someone bring up that event?
I did,
Okay,
because I work with one of my coworkers, and I know it's a ways out, but I thought it might be a good one for us, just because it would help kind of broaden the communities that we're supporting.
yeah, and I know, so for those of you who don't know what the Buddy Walk is, it's a walk specifically to raise money for Designer Jeans. Designer Jeans serves individuals with Down syndrome. And they've had this for a long time at the Capitol, is where the Buddy Walk is. So people have teams and then people donate money and then go and walk as long as you can around the Capitol. And then they have speakers and things like that at the event. I do know Kendra, who is the executive director there, so I can reach out to her to see if they would want volunteers for the event too, because they do setup, sometimes they do face painting during the day and different things. So I could ask her, I'm sure they are looking for volunteers. And then I think if I remember right, we were talking about potentially doing a sponsorship.
It's, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. It's the typical 250.
So do we want to vote on the sponsorship right now?
I think it's a good idea, because then we have the money earmarked for it.
For us to be sponsors, right, for this event.
Yep, for us to do a $250 sponsorship for the event. Do we have a motion then for the $250 donation or sponsorship for the Buddy Walk?
Make a motion to sponsor the Buddy Walk for $250.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor for sponsoring the Buddy Walk at $250, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Motion carries. Going back to Pride, do we know what the sponsorship levels have been for that before? You know how much we did last year?
I think it's around $200. I would have to go.
I'm just wondering if it was,
Whatever, it's like a table sponsorship, I think is what it's called, but I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's been, excuse me, 250.
There's a bronze for 100, silver for 250, gold for 500, and platinum for 1,000.
yeah, I think we did 250.
That was last year.
So we'll see once that information comes out in the next couple days. As far as what it looks like, if it looks any different, but I think it's been pretty standard as far as sponsorship levels over the past couple years. Before I move on to talk to humanitarian award, are there any other events that we need to talk about coming up in the next couple months? So as far as the humanitarian of the year, or I call it the year, I think it's just called, I'm all fancy with it every time.
I call it the.
Okay, the humanitarian award. So initially, it was supposed to end, what was it, the 20th, you guys? April 20th. So, however, since then, we've changed when our meetings are, so it throws us off for voting before the next city commission meeting. So we're proposing, and Keelan has already written up how to put this on social media. We're proposing changing the deadline until, do you know the deadline, or Tia was?
May 15th.
May 15th.
So that would mean that then we could review applications and vote at our May 21st meeting. I wasn't sure, Whitney, if that was going to be challenging administratively. Like, it seems like the nominations are there. We would just have to print them for May 21st if we closed it on the 15th.
Yeah, it really doesn't take a lot of work on my part. I can even share the folder so people have access to view them in the folder. But yeah, it's not very difficult to have them printed out for the meeting.
I think it would be helpful, like after it closes, like maybe on May 16th, to share that folder with everyone prior to the 21st. Right now we have 9 nominations. Some of them are duplicative, or multiple people have nominated the same individual or organization. One note is I don't believe we have any nominations for a youth. So maybe just sort of an action step for us is to outreach and push that out to, youth serving agencies, schools. I was just thinking.
So Kaylin actually submitted yesterday an ad for the Friday flyer, which goes out to all
Okay.
DPS for the humanitarian for the individuals. So that I believe will go in next week's Friday flyer.
Yeah, and I outreached to YouthWorks and some BPS based, as well as Northern Lights, like the Boy Scout Council. I never heard anything back from them, but if anyone has any other suggestions or contacts, since it's brand new.
I'm sure they would. You can ask Justin if we could do a quick spot. I mean, I'm sure that wouldn't have an issue. Where as that goes.
We did receive a 10th nomination. It was a hard copy that was delivered by hand to our office. So we have 10.
So I agree with Katie, because right now, Whitney had given me access to the folder, and they're all listed by name, and then if it's what a nomination, if it's relative business or whatever, you can click on it and read it. So I do think it'd be great for us to have access like the week before we meet, or a couple days before we meet. And then Whitney, if you could also just have the hard copies, because I like to write on things if possible while we're talking. So if we could have access to the folder so we can kind of look at them beforehand, as well as have them at the meeting, I think that would, in my opinion, that would work best.
Agree.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, I mean, it's great. I'm sure we'll have more. There's quite a few people who shared it, I saw, so that's great. And people that aren't even on the committee, like I shared it and then someone shared mine. Like Mira Schmitz, I shared it with Janelle, who's Mira Schmitz's wife. She shared it on her page. I texted her it, but then she shared it on her page. So I mean, it's getting out there as far as being shared. And some people just wait till the last minute. Even if they see it, they'll wait till the last minute and do it. But is everybody good with changing the deadline though? Okay, so we're good with that. And then Keelan has different social media posts he's gonna put out on certain dates as well, as far as that. I think one went out today, actually, if I remember right.
Should we decide now, just given, so we were gonna vote and determine in April and then award at a commission meeting in May. Should we then get on or choose a date in June to do those awards?
what days are the commission meetings in June?
10th and 24th.
We're voting on what day?
21st of May.
So would it probably be better then to do the 24th with ordering everything? So the commission meeting is at 5:15. In the basement.
I think the 24th would be safer,
Okay,
just in case something came up and
all right, so we will do it the 24th, whoever can make it.
Of June?
Yes. The,
First 2 weeks is the budget meetings are getting us left and right.
so they will let, whoever wins know that they're gonna be presented this award at the city commission meeting on that date. And then, we go up and talk about, I guess now it's the individuals, and then, we talk about the organization or business that gets it too, and then Keelan will do a press release for it as well. And last year they got a lot of exposure in the press as far as the two that had won. So that was good to go and see that on Facebook but then also at like KFYR, KXNP, the Tribune, all those different entities. So just keep on sharing so people can see when their algorithms on your posts, people are nominating. There are.
One
Mhm.
question. I'm looking at the social media post and it says, it still says they'll have the award by April 20th. Should we change that graphic?
He's gonna change it.
Okay,
He's pushing it out later, if I remember right.
okay.
So he's just gonna update it if I remember right. If we notice if it's past the fact, if it says doesn't have the change of date, just let me know or, and we can let Keelan know. But we haven't announced it yet officially that we're extending the date.
And anybody can share it to my page. I'll tell you that.
Great. Anything else about that? Does anybody have anything else we need to talk about today?
And you said for youth was no nomination, right?
Not yet, no.
Is okay to share if we have any teachers at any schools that we know, they work with a lot of kids from different backgrounds and stuff. It's okay to share that information
Absolutely.
directly.
Yep.
Actually printed them out and handed them out to people. Right. A couple of them I know are going to submit. So
You do have anything to share or anything you want to talk
I
about?
just wanna, Trevor, I didn't text him. He said he didn't respond, so he confirmed it.
Okay, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
So Whitney, Trevor confirmed. So we should have everybody confirmed that's being on the panel. Anything else? Any update you want to tell an update on the podcast?
What do I have?
Joan's gonna be taping on the
Oh,
podcast.
yes. Joan is our next guest, next recording, yes.
Oh, yeah, for the
Yeah.
podcast.
Send me the questions today, Joan.
I did see that, yeah.
And then we have Deidre.
I saw it briefly. I'll go into more detail after here.
But yeah, so then that should be what, we should be up to like 58 by the time we're done, a little over 50. So, our numbers are still the best ones out there, which is very fun, but that's all I have.
And the sound's gotten a lot better in the new system. I was actually listening to Chaplain Guillon's on the way here and the sound was amazing. So good job to you.
Also because of my class that I've learned how to edit audio. And Andy gets.
Betsy, do you have anything?
I don't.
Mr. Connolly?
Oh.
Edie? Joan?
Nope.
Gabby?
Nothing on my end.
Ella?
I'm sharing things.
Great job. Good job, everybody. Share, share, share. All right, our
You
next,
get tracked, you know, in different things and then you.
yep, our next meeting then
Yeah.
is 21st. May 21st at 4. So we will see some of you at Families Around the World, and then we'll see some of you at community conversations before then.
Next Transportation Steering Committee is gonna be on Monday, the 28th. We're gonna have staff available on the Friday,
What day?
Monday, the 28th of April.
April.
Do you have any
The
feedback?
21st, I have it on.
Do you have any feedback at all from the Transportation Committee that we need?
I haven't listened to the meeting last one,
Oh.
but they're working around like the people that are trying to accommodate the ones with disabilities.
Okay.
And it just didn't coincide with my work schedule.
Okay. Anything that I need to know, we need to know?
So I discussed with you on the phone for community conversations, so.
Doug knows my work schedules.
All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.